What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. Now, the Detroit Lions have come out with a little bit of news recently as they are set to interview their first true general manager candidate and former Texans general manager Rick Smith. Now, in this video, I wanted to go over Rick Smith, talk about his career as the Texans general manager, talk about his history, his draft history, his free agent history, what he did as the Texans general manager, what the Texans did under his guidance as the general manager, and just kind of go over a general review of Rick Smith, the potential GMing candidate for the Detroit Lions. Now, before we get into the video, if you are new to the channel and are enjoying this Detroit Lions content, please consider liking the videos and subscribing to the channel. It only takes 2 seconds out of your day to do so, and it helps the channel out more than you could know. So if you could do that, just those 2 seconds to like and subscribe, I'd be greatly appreciative for it. But with all that being said, and without any further ado, let's get into previewing Rick Smith, the potential GMing candidate for the Detroit Lions. Now, as I mentioned, Rick Smith was the Houston Texans general manager from the year 2006 to the year 2017. However, he was not very involved in the organization in the 2017 season, as he did have to step away from football and did have to step away from his GMing duties to help with his wife, who was having some very crucial and very critical health complications. So he did have to step away in the 2017 season. So, if you look at some of the trades and some of the moves and re-signings in the 2017 season, a lot of that was Bill O'Brien. So some of the trades that were made that weren't necessarily the best moves in 2017 were not really Rick Smith's fault. It was more Bill O'Brien. However, he was the GM and did draft from 2006 to 2017. And in those drafts, he was very successful. In Rick Smith's 12 draft classes as the general manager of the Houston Texans, he drafted 14 Pro Bowlers in 12 drafts, so more than one Pro Bowler in every draft is what he averaged. He had 8 defensive Pro Bowlers and 6 offensive Pro Bowlers. Those Pro Bowlers include Mario Williams, D'Amico Ryans, Owen Daniels, Jacoby Jones, Dwayne Brown, Brian Cushing, Connor Barwin, Glover Quinn, J.J. Watt, Brandon Brooks, DeAndre Hopkins, Jadeveon Clowney, Benardrick McKinney, and Deshaun Watson. Now, that's a lot of Pro Bowlers, and that's a lot of really good homegrown talent that have really helped the Texans become a really good team over the past couple of seasons, obviously excluding this one, but he's not the general manager right now. He's not been the general manager for the past few seasons, but when he was the general manager, the team saw a lot of success, and a large portion of that and a large reason for that was because of his exceptional drafting. Now, Pro Bowlers are not the only thing you look at when you look at drafting. However, even if you look at some of the guys that didn't make Pro Bowls, there is a lot of talent and a lot of, even late round talent that went to the Houston Texans that he was able to get there and develop and identify as the general manager before selecting them into the draft class. Now, some of the really good talent that hasn't made a Pro Bowl yet include Will Fuller, Kareem Jackson, DJ Reader, and Zach Cunningham, all of whom were starters and very big role players for the team, or are current big role players for this Houston Texans organization. Will Fuller is their wide receiver 1, and we know exactly what Will Fuller is capable of as Detroit fans. We saw it on Thanksgiving. DJ Reader just got a huge contract to go to the Cincinnati Bengals, as Bill O'Brien felt it was not necessary to re-sign him. However, DJ Reader is one of the better defensive linemen in the NFL. He's one of the better run stuffers in the NFL, and was a big target by Detroit Lions fans as a guy that they wanted to bring in to this Lions organization to help bolster the defensive line that much more. Kareem Jackson has been one of the better and long-tenured safeties in the NFL, former first-round pick by the Houston Texans. He was very good in Houston. He was part of that really good Houston defense when he and J.J. Watt and Jadeveon Clowney and DJ Reader, when they were all there, they had one of the best run defenses, one of the best defenses overall in football, and Kareem Jackson was a big part of that and is now a big part of the Denver Broncos defense, who is still a very good and very efficient unit from the defensive standpoint. You have Zach Cunningham, who is a current starter for them at the linebacker position. He is a very good, very big, fast, strong tackling machine that is just a good linebacker, good starting depth, and good, talent for them in that second round of the draft class. Rick Smith has had a lot of very good draft class. He's had a lot of success in the draft class. I mean, we saw all the Pro Bowlers. You see all the guys that have, accomplished a lot in the NFL, and that's not everybody that he's drafted. That's not all the players that have had success that he has drafted in the NFL, but those are the big names. He's got Deshaun Watson, J.J. Watt, two future Hall of Famers likely. J.J. Watt definitely. Deshaun Watson, if he's going at the pace he's at right now, if he continues that, he will be a Hall of Famer. You got Will Fuller, who's going to get a big big contract. You got Will Fuller, who's a very good wide receiver. Kareem Jackson, who's been in the NFL for a long time and has been a great safety. DJ Reader, who's just got a huge contract. Zach Cunningham, who's a current starter for them. You got tons and tons and tons of talent from these draft classes, and not all of them were in the first round. DJ Reader was a 6th round pick. Some of these other guys were 2nd, 3rd, 4th round picks. So it's not even just the first round, even though his first round selection has been very, very good and was very good for the Houston Texans. It's not just a first round thing. He gets Pro Bowlers all throughout the draft. He gets Pro Bowlers in just about every single draft that he picks. I believe there's only 2 draft classes in his entire tenure that has not had a single Pro Bowler from it. And even in those classes, again, they've had very good, very good contributions and a lot of talent come out of those classes, even if it hasn't necessarily resulted in a Pro Bowl selection by any of the members. Draft classes are great. Drafting is a big part of being the general manager. What was the team's success under Rick Smith? What was the team able to accomplish, and what were they able to do? Now, in Rick Smith's 12 seasons, they had a winning record. They had a 500 or above record 8 of the 12 seasons Rick Smith was there. He was a very good general manager, hired the right people, got the right people in the building, and had 8 winning seasons, or 8 seasons that he was 500 or above, and that is not a bad thing, especially for a Detroit Lions team that hasn't been above 500 in the past 3 years. Bringing in a guy on Rick Smith who has built a team that has had a lot of winning records in his time is not a bad thing for the Detroit Lions to do, and is definitely a good candidate for the Detroit Lions to look at, for the reason that he has built a winning team. As the only time he's been a general manager, he built a very winning and a very successful franchise, and the only reason he stepped away is because of his own personal reasons and his own personal choices to help with his family needs at the time. It's not like he was fired. He's never been fired from the GMing spot. He only has 4 losing seasons under his belt out of the 12, and with that record and with that standard and with that record overall, I would take that guy as my GM over Bob Quinn in a heartbeat. Now, the Houston Texans also had 4 divisional titles under Rick Smith. I can't remember the exact years, but they had 4 years where they were the division titles. They had 6 playoff appearances and a couple playoff wins in Rick Smith's time. The Houston Texans were very successful from 2006 to 2017. They have been a good organization for pretty much the entire time that they've been an organization. They've had a lot of good players, a lot of talent throughout their young history, and they've been a very successful football team pretty much since the year that they were founded in, I believe, 2002. They've been a very good team. They've been a great football team for a long time, and a lot of their success in the mid-seasons and their the middle of their career or the middle of their franchise, obviously from 2006 to 2017, a lot of their success can be contributed to Rick Smith's very good drafting and very good free agency influence when it comes to bringing in more free agents, not just from the draft, but from the NFL ranks as well. Now, Rick Smith had a lot of really good free agents hits, including Jonathan Joseph, a very good cornerback, AJ Boye, a very good cornerback, and Arian Foster, a very good running back that was kind of the heart and soul of that Texans offense for quite a while when he was still in his prime and still doing some very, very good things. Now, the one big knock I do have on Rick Smith, and the one big thing that I do kind of have against him, is one, he struggled to find a quarterback for a very long time. That was the Texans' problem for a very long time, is that they did not have the quarterback in order to compete with the big dogs. They had Brock Osweiler, they had David Carr, they had a couple other guys, who else? They had Ryan Fitzpatrick for a year, I think. They had a couple guys here and there that were not horrible quarterbacks, but they weren't good quarterbacks either. They were, below average, I would say. They weren't good enough to take the team over the top, and that is Rick Smith's biggest flaw and his biggest, question mark, in my opinion, is it took Rick Smith so many years to find the right quarterback that by the time he did find the right quarterback, he had to step away and wasn't even able to enjoy the pick that he selected in Deshaun Watson. Now, with that being said, he did eventually find the right quarterback. He did eventually get to find Deshaun Watson, who is, again, one of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL and is, carving up defenses every single weekend, every single day that he's on the football field. He is improving and getting better and carving up defenses and looking like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and looking as though he will be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL for a very, very long time to come. But again, the Detroit Lions don't necessarily need a quarterback to step up day one. They don't need that quarterback to come in and be the franchise savior, because they do have Matt Stafford. They do have a guy in a veteran quarterback who can step in, who can win you football games, who can get you victories. So Rick Smith might struggle to find a quarterback. He might struggle to find a quarterback in Detroit just like he did in Houston, but it's a different situation because in Houston, they didn't have a bona fide starter. In Houston, they didn't have that quarterback that they could step to immediately if they didn't find their guy in the draft. In Detroit, Rick Smith would have that. He would have a veteran quarterback that he could rely on to win him football games. Why he takes the time to truly evaluate a quarterback. He would not have to rush the decision. He would not have to make the decision out of desperation or out of just the fact that he didn't have one. Rick Smith would be able to sit back, evaluate all the talent, and pick the best quarterback available because, he already has that reliable starter that he doesn't need to reach. He doesn't need to make a pick out of panic for a quarterback. He doesn't need to make a huge contract signing. He doesn't have to sign a huge name quarterback, or doesn't have to sign a quarterback to a huge deal in the NFL because he has Matt Stafford. The Lions have Matt Stafford. So even if Rick Smith were to come here and struggle to find a quarterback, we still have a couple of good years of Matt Stafford left, I believe, where Rick Smith can sit back and truly make the best decision possible on our future franchise quarterback. And again, eventually, he did hit on Deshaun Watson, who is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And even in saying that they did not have a great quarterback for a very long time, they were still a winning franchise. Again, they did not have Deshaun Watson until 2017, Rick Smith's last official season as the general manager. And even without Deshaun Watson, even without a very good quarterback for a lot of Rick Smith's tenure, he still had 8 of 12 winning seasons, still had 4 division titles, still had numerous playoff appearances and a couple playoff wins. Like, even without a quarterback, he built a team that could win football games and could make the playoffs and could win a division. And that is what I like to see out of the GM. I don't like to see us relying on Matt Stafford every single game to dig us out of a hole that the rest of the roster puts us in. Rick Smith built a complete roster. He built a very good defense over his tenure. He built a very good football team. And although he was missing that one key piece at quarterback, the team still found a lot of success under Rick Smith. So imagine Rick Smith's defense, the defense he could build. Imagine us getting a J.J. Watt, a Jadeveon Clowney, a Whitney Merciless, all these different guys. Imagine us bringing these guys in, building a really good defense, and still having a maybe older Matt Stafford, but with a team around him that the defense can support him. A team around him where the running backs and the offensive line can support him and help him out versus relying on him. Rick Smith built a very complete and very successful and competitive team in the Houston Texans, and it was a good team for a long time until Bill O'Brien decided to tear it down. All the bad moves that the Texans have made in recent years have been a result of Bill O'Brien being the general manager. That is not the fault of Rick Smith. That is the fault of the organization in the Houston Texans once Rick Smith had to step away. When Rick Smith was there, this team was competitive, this team was good, and I believe if he was still the general manager, if he did not have to step away from football to care for his wife, who had health complications, as I said, this Houston Texans team would still be a top of the NFL. This Houston Texans team would still be one of the more dangerous teams in the NFL because I guarantee you Rick Smith is not trading DeAndre Hopkins. He is not, getting rid of all these guys. He's re-signing DJ Reader. He's re-signing Jadeveon Clowney. He is keeping all the talent that he grew in the Houston Texans, and he is keeping it there in the city, in the organization for future success. Rick Smith might not be the best GM candidate, and I'm not here to convince you that he is the best GM candidate, but he is a good GM candidate. He is a good former general manager that saw a lot of success with a very young and very inexperienced organization in the Houston Texans. Rick Smith might not be the favorite. Rick Smith might not be the best general manager candidate, but I do like that the Detroit Lions are looking at everybody. They've already had a couple interviews with people within the Lions organization because they can't interview the big names right now. They can't go out and look at other GM candidates that already have a job because I think COVID's part of that. I think that's just part of the NFL rules is you can't do that as a football team. If somebody has the job already, you can't, go and interview them right away. You have to wait till the NFL offseason to see if you can convince them to move over or whatever. But in knowing that the Lions can't go get their big guys right now, they can't go interview Ed Dobbs from Indianapolis. They can't go get these guys from the 49ers or the Indianapolis Colts or any of the other big name guys that people want at the general manager. I love that the Lions are being thorough. I love that they're being diligent. I love that they're looking at every possible GM candidate, and Rick Smith is a good GM candidate to look at. It's not like they're just looking at a bunch of people that aren't going to get the job. Rick Smith has a really good opportunity to become the Lions' next general manager. Although he might not be my favorite GM candidate at the moment, I do think he would be a very good general manager for this team. Again, he drafted 8 Pro Bowlers in 12 years on the defensive side of the ball, and he drafted 6 offensive Pro Bowlers in 12 years. 14 Pro Bowlers in 12 draft classes is a very, very good hit margin. I mean, you draft more than 1 Pro Bowler in every single draft class, your team is going to be very good, and that's where the Houston Texans sat a long time ago. That's where the Houston Texans sat when he was there. He is a former defensive backs coach as well, so he's very good at drafting on the defensive side of the ball. He's very good at drafting defensive players. He knows what it takes for DBs to be successful because he was a former defensive backs coach, so he knows that it's going to take a good front seven. He knows how to build a defense. He knows how to draft on the defensive side of the ball especially, and that's where the Lions struggle. If they want to build a good defense again, if they want to bring back that ferocious Lions defense that they had in the 2014 season, Rick Smith is the guy that can build up that defense. Rick Smith is a guy that can get the defense right and can get the right pieces on this defense and really fill the holes that are left on this defensive football team right now. The holes that are left in this Lions defense, Rick Smith can fill because he's done it before and he's built a very, very successful and a very good defense in the NFL before. So I wanted to go over this because this was Lions news. The Lions are set to give him an interview in the coming days. I don't know the exact date of the interview, but it is going to happen in the very near future. And don't be surprised if the interview goes well. Don't be surprised if Rick Smith becomes the next general manager. Obviously, it won't happen anytime soon. They're going to interview everybody they can. They're going to wait till the offseason. They're going to wait till they can interview everybody to make this kind of decision. However, Rick Smith is probably one of the better GMing candidates available right now. And the fact that the Lions are going out and getting him before the offseason even begins and they're getting that head start on the GMing search is something I really like to see out of this team, and is something I hope they continue to do as the weeks and as the season progresses and finishes off. So with all that being said though, that is all I got for you guys today. What do you guys think about Rick Smith as a potential GMing candidate? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Of course, I hope everybody would be okay with them interviewing people. Obviously, he's not guaranteed the job. Obviously, they're not giving him the job right away, but I do like the fact that they're interviewing everybody. I do like the fact that they're being diligent and thorough and giving every single person an opportunity to be interviewed. This is the first real big name GMing candidate that the Lions have interviewed so far, so I'm very curious to see where you guys stand on it. He might not be your favorite, but do you guys think he could be a good GM? Would you be okay if we did hire Rick Smith as the general manager? Let me know that down in the comments below. But with all that being said, that is all I got for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. If there is Lions news before tomorrow, then I will obviously make a video letting every single person know. But until then, that is all I got for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you all tomorrow with more Lions content. Thank you all for watching. Bye, guys.